Serious. Americans. Are you aware of how much propaganda there is in your country? If so, how did you realize it? I'm aware there is a ton of it, and the scary part is being aware you don't know the full extent of it. The true horror comes when you realize that you can probably only detect about half of all propaganda. I'm American, and I think American exceptionalism, aka America is the greatest country in the world, type of stuff, is extremely cringy. All it tells me is that the people saying it don't know anything about the rest of the world. Oh God, there is so much fucking propaganda about the USA being the best goddamned country in the world. If it's so damn great, why is it so difficult for me to get out of medical debt? I'm not even sure at this point, because one side says something asinine and definitely false, then the other one does it. Then they both try to emotionally manipulate me, either using religion or racial stuff. And then you realize that you agree with some stuff from one side and other stuff from the other side, and that both of them are fucked up. And I'm pretty sure emotional manipulation is propaganda. And #X200B. TL. Doctor. Politics bad. Everyone tries to push an agenda using basically propaganda. When all the poor people are warring against each other on issues that shouldn't matter. As in, why would you be against civil rights rather than fighting the uber wealthy? We always have known there's just not really anything most of us are really able to do to stop it. So we just ignore it. Yes, I am. Thankfully I'm a good Googler, so I can get at least part of the truth. When the news started making up statistics for everything, and when you presented people with real data online, your account would just get suspended because it goes against a certain political party's narrative. Saying there is propaganda doesn't say I hate my country. It's stating the obvious. I don't agree with a lot of what goes on here, as I don't with America too. And there are many positive things about England. As with America, doesn't mean there aren't more negative. Understanding that the polarization between Democrats and Republicans is intentional, created in house, and cooperatively between the two parties. Those boxes are designed to pull you away from the other. And this is a breeding ground for subliminal and overt propaganda. I never realized until my high school hosted German exchange students. Seeing them react to the Pledge of Allegiance, active shooter drills, and just our education system in general made me realize how fucked up we are. Learning about everything else that America has normalized. For-profit healthcare. An economy that only functions if poor people stay poor. A government built on systemic racism, etc. happened pretty quickly after that and made me literally embarrassed to be American. I honestly don't think there is that much more than in many other countries. This seems like a broad, overly woke question. Yes. I ignore it and retain as much individual thought and personality as I can. Often it is frowned upon, especially on Reddit. Are you aware of how much propaganda there is in your country? Or do you actually believe there isn't any? You think we're unique in that regard? Every country has propaganda. Every country thinks they're special. The difference is that the United States is special. Not in the greatest country on earth way, but in that rich people the world over what to influence our politics. And in order to do that, they fund propaganda. I'm always entertained by how many people think anything they agree with is fact, while anything they disagree with is propaganda. It became super obvious when they started attacking Trump for illogical reasons. I realized when I looked at how differently the media treats Biden compared to how they treated Trump. I would say all national-level media is subject to suspicion. They choose the issues that we focus on. There is some crazy stuff going on in the US right now in the stock exchange and we don't hear much about it, although it is being addressed in Washington. So that makes me feel a little better. The thing is that they don't have to really follow up and make laws or do anything once the spotlight is off them on that issue. Neither side wants to mess with the market makers. Controversial opinion here, but I think that while obviously there's a ton of propaganda in the US, there's also a ton of anti-American propaganda in some other countries. A ton of places it really makes sense why people hate the states. And it's fair. And we deserve it. But then there are places like France who have been just as shitty as the US. Yet use us as a punching bag so they don't have to deal with their own horrid realities. Nearly everyone in the US is so blinded by their own ideals. Everyone lives in an echo chamber and it's motivated me to always seek out each side of an argument. That being said, the amount of insert any ideology bullshit that's being shoved down everyone's throat is extremely irritating and scary. During the election I saw so many ads that were clearly directed for kids by both sides trying to get them while they're young, but there is a lot of propaganda all over the world though. Yeah, and I think if you're a critical thinker it's super easy to see all the lies that are fed to you in a daily basis. When both sides of the same coin want shut the fuck up about one another. Meet the new boss. Same as the old boss. We're just powerless to do anything about it at this point. Once you've been saturated in it for so long you're either brainwashed or you've already given up. Man shrugging, medium light skin tone. Obama signed legislation in 2012 that legalized government-sponsored propaganda for use in the states and outside of wartime conditions. So yay. I read somewhere that the schools have a thing where they worship the flag in the morning. Which is crazy to me. I sit with my GF at least once a week and we watch Fox's primetime lineup. It's unfucking believable. US flags on absolutely everything. A sickening amount of nationalism. Laughably one-sided stories. And concerningly inaccurate reporting. Their own lawyers stated. https://federal/district-courts/new-york/nisdes/1/161/5278008/39/. Their shows aren't stating actual facts, and are non-literal commentary. But their viewers take it 100% seriously. Very concerning. This is going to get downvoted to hell by the overly patriotic Americans who won't see a bad word said about their beloved country. From an outsider, the amount of propaganda, indoctrination and bias pro-America media is frightening. The only thing that is scarier is the amount of people who go along with it and actively support a corrupt system that is designed to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. How any working-class American can support the government is beyond me. What a stupid loaded question. There's propaganda and bias everywhere. Manufacturing consent woke me up to the propaganda the US media feeds us. I was aware of it before, but had no idea to the lengths they went to block the truth from us. Yup. It's pretty obvious. I really think the people who don't realize it either choose not to, or have just been programmed from an early age to be blind and are likely unsavable. After I questioned and left my religion, I figured out just how much propaganda and lies there are all over. Non-Americans, are you aware of the fact that you have an equal amount of propaganda in your own country? As someone who started listening to punk rock in middle school, I'd say since middle school, that shit opened my eyes real quick. Look, another shitting on America post. Look, I'm just trying to live my life, bro. I didn't say shit about wherever you're from. It is frightening, because it even started in grade school with the Pledge of Allegiance, which is really weird when you think about it. It is heartbreaking to live in this country and know that more than 50% of what we see on the news in B.S. Are you familiar with the internet? Yeah. Realize it every day. And you? How's your propaganda networks working for you? The media only factors in race if the assailant is white and the victim is a minority. Canadian here, hand waving. I noticed back in 2012, but I really started to put the pieces together in 2016. So many Americans think that we're the only free nation. Goes to show how stupid many of us are here as well. I certainly am. Almost everything has an agenda. News isn't written for its own sake. I don't believe we have any more or less than other countries. The shit I see in Europe and Central America routinely is insane. And Asia is a different world. I mean, just go to our politics for all your propaganda needs. Most of the headlines don't even try to be discreet about the bias. That being said, this is the internet, and in particular this is Reddit, so it's no surprise. I went to America and was alarmed to see how much patriotic propaganda there was and how many people suck up to it. Flags everywhere. It was really off-putting to realize that there is a massive nation of people here that are supremely gullible. It didn't surprise me one bit they voted in that fat orange sex predator. Pretty sure you don't know what propaganda is if you think there's a lot of it in the US. I realized it around 2015. Donald Trump ran. We all laughed. Then you see people actually support him. He wins. He fucks up everything. People still support him. Also, Fox News is the most watched news program in this country. Yes, more viewers, higher ratings than CNN. Coronavirus was the last straw. I'm starting my Canadian visa process very soon. Reading about the Black Panther coloring book and the section about PR in my public communications class.